So in November of 2022, ChatGPT was released. If you're not familiar with ChatGPT, this is an AI program that it chats with you, helps you give you information, answers questions for solving problems and things like this. And I want to talk about the possibilities and opportunities of AI. I think there's risks and there's incredible opportunities. I found I use ChatGPT using some of these AI programs almost every day. And you may not know what it is, but it really is having a significant impact and will have an even more significant impact on life. I met recently a software engineer who said, I'm using this and it's saving me 10 to 20 hours a week because he puts in what he needs as far as code and what he needs as far as things to be created, and it will just create it for you. You just put in the prompt and it will just create all this information for you and give it to you. I think it has an amazing potential to help us. It also has a sizable risk of harm, not like the Terminator, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator, but I think it's really important to pay attention to what's going on because it's really changing the way we do work, the way we interact with computers, the way we really don't know what the applications are. And so we're going to jump into that and talk about the possibilities and dangers of AI. All right, my name is Bronson Hill. Welcome. We are a multifamily and investment firm that does stuff in multifamily, ATMs, car washes, oil and gas. We help people get passive income in what they do. We also love talking about emerging topics like this. But let's talk about the possibilities of AI, right? So the first possibility is that you can produce a ton more work, right? I gave the example of my software engineer friend. I said, hey, does your employer know that you're doing this, that you're saving 10 to 20 hours a week? And he said, well, no. And I said, well, you better hope he doesn't find out, right? But more work can be produced. So you can see here, I created a video or an image of a guy, holding, on a skateboard holding a dragon. So I can just type that in, it'll create it, and I say, now make it in the style of Picasso. Now give me 10 versions. And it does all of this in seconds. So it's really, really powerful to get information. Like I said, I use it for content, for video ideas, for crafting emails, for rearranging things. I'm going on a trip to New Zealand later this year. It'll help me plan a vacation, give me a 15-day trip, for New Zealand that has all kinds of possibilities. So for future opportunities, it's not just with text. Right now it's text, but eventually it will be video. It will also be the ability to interact with a voice. Now you call a hotline or you call a number, and usually a human will answer somewhere else in the world. But in the future, you may not know if that person is a human or if it's a computer, because now Google has actually recreated where you actually can have somebody scheduling calls that you don't really know that it's not a person actually calling. And so there may be a point where you call and you say, hey, are you a computer or are you a human? And it says, the voice says, well, I'm a computer, and you'll actually be relieved. And the reason why you'd be relieved is because this computer has analyzed millions of calls before you, and they know exactly what your question is and exactly how to solve it, and they have the ability to be able to solve it versus the frustrating, time of being on hold and having to wait. Let me talk to my supervisor. It's all kind of taken care of through this. So it's just very interesting. This is all changing very, very quick. There's the ability to solve complex problems. And again, another way we use this, like I talked about, you can say, hey, I'm going to create an email that's going to talk about one of our deals, and now turn that into a text message, turn it into a website, turn it into a landing page. We'll just kind of almost instantly do all these things for you. There's actually an app now, the ChatGPT app. There's a lot of fake ones, but there's one real one. So I think the early adopters will benefit, and we don't really know all the applications of it. With investing, something like, I think it was like 80 or 90% of hedge funds now are using AI and ChatGPT and some of the stuff in analyzing stuff with their investments. You wonder, well, how would that work? Well, they can just literally take all the data and put it in there, and it will spit back information as far as analytics on how that's working. So very, very interesting stuff. But there's also the dangers of AI, right? There's some dangers here. There's tons of possibility, but there is danger. And that's why some of these people like Elon Musk have been kind of throwing their hands up saying, hey guys, we got to really take our time here. There's too much here. But it is also leveling the playing field where you and I have access to this and not just the huge corporations, which is pretty amazing. So potentially AI could take over our jobs. Now this conversation really has been there for many years, saying, I think there was an article or a book that came out in the 70s that said, hey, 60s, well, we're going to have, because of technology, we're going to be working 15 hours a week, and we're just going to be, the machines are going to be doing everything for us. And we obviously know it's not the case. The more technology evolves, the more people want to interact with other people. There's support that needs to happen for these type of technology things as well. But there is a danger, and this is actually seen to be planned more than it's not, that the AI is becoming smarter and smarter. These computers are getting smarter and smarter to where there's this event called the singularity, and it's basically when computers become smarter than humans, right? And so they actually have the ability to think at a higher, faster, greater level than a human. And could it be like the movie The Terminator, right? It's kind of an entertaining movie. Well, my friend George Gammon, I had dinner with him recently. If you don't know George, he talks a lot about economics and future trends. Just a great guy. And he said, this is what he's concerned about with AI. And I thought this was a very interesting way to look at it. That enemy countries, let's say we get a country like North Korea or some, Russia or some country that's hostile to the US, and they could basically create propaganda. So if you look back at World War II, there was a lot of propaganda that came out, and they just helped to sway public opinion through propaganda. So there's something called a deep fake video. Now, a deep fake video is basically, imagine Biden or Trump saying something that they didn't actually say. You're seeing this, sometimes there's this guy on social media, it's like a Tom Cruise lookalike, but it actually is Tom Cruise. Well, that's a deep fake, right? There's ways they can actually make it look like the person and create a video that generates to make it look like it's actually that person talking. And so that gets really tough because in the past, we'd use video to actually analyze, did somebody do a crime, did they not? Well, you could always just say, well, that was a deep fake, right? But what George was saying is that enemy countries such as North Korea could say, hey, let's release 5 deep fake videos a week that look like police brutality, right? That's racially motivated, that's sent out, and maybe they're released in Chicago or some other areas, and CNN airs these, and it's found out 5 days later that they're false, but the damage is already done, right? When the George Floyd video went out, it just was, inflammatory right away. And so this could happen. And then also, not on that, just the one side politically, it could be the other side of, let's say there's videos of people being persecuted for their religious faith or their use of guns or things like that, right? So again, there's just all sorts of ways this could be used. And somebody said too that we've gone from the age of information to be the age of misinformation, right? So AI could be a real source of just creating more and more misinformation in the wrong hands. And it's changing very quickly. So I would say it's really important to pay attention to what's happening here because there's dangers there, but also there are applications to your life. So how can you use AI in your life? So with all I just said, I still think using AI in your life is going to make your life better. And we try to use it in our business a lot. We're trying to find new applications for ChatGPT. For other ones, there's one called Opus.pro that basically repurposes a lot of short videos, your videos into short videos, which is great. That saves us a lot of time, saves us money. So the more we can embrace that, and I really tell my employees, it's not, we're not just doing this to try to eliminate, we're not eliminating jobs, but we're trying to become more productive, right? So it allows you to become more productive. So if you're not familiar with it, go to chat.openai.com. It's really easy to log in. Just try it. Just play around with it a little bit. Ask it all kinds of different things. There's lots of articles coming out about it. And if you're skeptical to this, I know a lot of people that are, especially as we get a little bit older, maybe over the age of, when I say older, over the age of 40, I'm over 40 as well. But if you're over 40, a lot of times it's hard to embrace new technology. But this is one I think you really want to pay attention to. See how you can apply it, stay up to date with the changes, realize it's a new frontier, and really pay attention. Because if you're not paying attention, these things can have dramatic effects in a very short period of time. And we're seeing just exponential changes in this area as well as other areas as well. So I want to share this quote with you. This comes from a computer scientist named Eliezer Yudkowsky. And he says, by far, the greatest danger of artificial intelligence is that people conclude too early that they understand it. And so again, this is something, I feel like I understand it. It's either like this or it's like that. And we may not just really understand it. So that's the important thing to pay attention to. I want to share this video with you. It's about my money-making must-have weapon. It's a little bit surprising. You can check it out up here. I think you'll find interest in that. And then if you haven't downloaded our ebook, How to Use Inflation to Your Advantage, I highly recommend you to check that out. You can check that out in the link below. You can go to our website, bronsonequity.com. We're also doing deals in the multifamily space, oil and gas space, car washes, and ATMs. So you can check that out as well. Thanks for taking the time. Would love to hear your comments about AI, what you see ChatGPT and AI, the risks and possibilities of that being. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.